We are going to begin with the race for the White House, though. President Biden will deliver his first speech since ending his re-election campaign. He will speak from the Oval Office in a primetime address tonight and lay out his plans for the rest of his term. Biden is also expected to talk about his endorsement of Vice President Harris, who has hit the ground running as a Democratic presidential candidate. Harris held the first rally of her campaign yesterday in front of a roaring room of supporters in the battleground state of Wisconsin.
What kind of country do we want to live in? A country and to your point, do we want to live in a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law, or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? And here's the beauty of this moment. We each have the power to answer that question.
Former President Donald Trump will hold his first rally since the candidate shakeup. Yesterday, his campaign filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission over the transfer of funding from the Biden campaign to the Harris campaign. Trump also slammed his now likely opponent during a phone call with reporters.
She's the same as Biden, but much more radical. She's a radical left person, and this country doesn't want a radical left person to destroy it. She's far more radical than he is. She wants open borders. She wants things that nobody wants.
So joining me now for more analysis is CBS News political director Fin Gomez. So Fin, since President Biden stepped away from his re-election campaign, the Republicans have been critical of this move in all sort of different ways and threatening different types of legal actions. But now we're actually seeing something that they're doing. What more do we know about this FEC complaint filed by Trump's campaign? And could this really impact Harris's ability to access the funds raised?
That's a great question, Anne-Marie, and good morning. The Trump campaign filed this complaint with the FEC, claiming the transfer of funds from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris is a campaign finance violation. The complaint is filed against Harris and the Biden campaign treasurer. Essentially, the campaign's general counsel, David Warrington, is accusing them of filing fraudulent forms with the commission purporting to repurpose one candidate's principal campaign committee for the use of another, essentially saying that Harris simply replaced Biden's name with her own instead of filing her own statement of candidacy. But essentially here, Anne-Marie, the Trump campaign is looking to throw a legal wrench with this maneuver. The complaint may have significant hurdles in its landing, if you will, because when the Biden-Harris team, when the campaign filed their initial candidacy paperwork with the FEC, they filed it not only the name in Joe Biden's name, but also in Kamala Harris's name. But it's also could be a precursor, Anne-Marie, of what's to come, with the sort of the litigious maneuverings of the Trump campaign, and with only we're 104 days until the election, Anne-Marie, we could be seeing more of this.
Yeah, I expect that. Let me ask you about what Donald Trump is planning for tonight. He's going to be in Charlotte.
Charlotte, North Carolina, the battleground state of Charlotte, North Carolina. In recent polls prior to Joe Biden dropping off the ticket, we did see that he had a pretty pronounced lead in that battleground state. But speaking with the campaign, with the Harris campaign and people close to the Harris campaign, they do feel that they have some strength there with her now being on the top of the ticket in that battleground state. Their focus is, in part, not just those blue wall states that we've been hearing so much about, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, but also the Sun Belt states, which include North Carolina, Georgia, and also Nevada and Arizona in the West. But yes, it is a key battleground state, and we do expect former President Trump to really go after Vice President Harris tonight in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Meantime, Vice President Harris will be attending a previously scheduled event in Indianapolis after holding that campaign event that she had in Wisconsin there. What's the latest with her campaign?
Campaign co-chair Jen O'Malley Dillon released a memo last night really laying out their focus and their plan and how they feel that they can essentially establishing a pathway to the White House for Kamala Harris. So essentially, not only that Sunbelt strategy that I mentioned, but really focusing on some core constituency groups as well, and key issues like reproductive rights. And on those core constituency groups, they feel that they can make some inroads with some of the groups that we've seen some erosion with recently, but those groups being Latino voters, Black voters, women voters, and also young voters. So there is now, not only that, as you mentioned, she was in the battleground state of Wisconsin yesterday, where we really saw one of her not only is a very energetic crowd, but it was the biggest crowd for Harris, about 3,500 people. In speaking to people and close to Harris and close to the campaign, they feel there's a certain enthusiasm and energy that has now been added that had been lacking in recent months.
All right, Finn, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course, we're going to have special coverage of President Biden's primetime address to the nation starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can stream his remarks right here on CBS News 24/7.